love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted. Stay humble. Now wait.
2022 was the third year I would chase this buck. After another fruitless season of him disappearing after season opener and not hearing of anyone harvesting him in 2021, hopes were high that he had survived the winter and would be back. I hadn't seen him or known of anyone that had seen him since I had him at 70 yards late in the afternoon on the opener in 2021. And then I had that trail cam video of him near his summer area on December 2nd, 2021. I also felt like I had him really well patterned. Every time I'd seen him for the previous 2 years, I'd come home and put a track on Google Earth. I'd record where I'd first see him, make a path where he had fed or gone to bed, and put notes in. I had been doing this for 2 years, and starting the third year, it became pretty clear that there were definite patterns in his day-to-day living. It was really interesting to see how it all started showing up after 3 years of watching him. He had 2 main feeding areas and 3 areas he typically bed in. This is similar to what my Google Earth would look like. Understanding his pattern also helped me to hyper-target where to glass from. I was able to identify an area to glass from that I saw him every single time I went up the mountain during 2022. It was a perfect spot, and even better, not one time did I see another person when I went up. I was incognito every single time.
You don't wanna make me mad. I stay strong, you will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math. When I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, don't stop.
me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing. I got a God complex. Haters love to hate, but I never feel pressed. Got a lot on my plate, but I never get stressed. I'll take all the pressure like I'm acing this test. Oh! Tear it up like I'm Jason. I see the world like it's ready for the taking. I see this place like a game I'm playing. Straight to the bank to collect my payments. No negotiations, it's my way, I was born impatient. And like a damn Freemason, I'll run this nation.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Unfortunately, word was out about this buck, and we started hearing of other people finding him and wanting to hunt him. We contemplated how best to hunt him, knowing from the year before how people were going to approach him on opener. We felt like there were a few options. First, we could be pretty aggressive on opening morning, getting into position based on where he was the night before opener, and given the patterns I had of him, be in a great place to make a move at very, very first light. The second option we talked about, and this was kind of extreme, as we considered bumping him a few weeks before the hunt and watching where he went. Then the plan would be to hunt that area on opening day when others would certainly bump him. This option seemed risky, and we decided not to pursue it. As it turned out, given the interest in this buck, he was pressured out before the hunt even started. August 18th was the last time we saw him alive. There were at least 13 different groups glassing for him on opening morning. The mountain was crawling with hunters and people glassing for those hunters. Some of the hunters did not do their homework. There were at least 2 groups that I'm aware of that set up camp within 50 yards of where he would typically bed. They literally were staying right where he was going to be. Another successful Wasatch Front hunter had set up camp on the backside of an upper ridge and wasn't more than 200 yards away from the last place we saw him alive. He was too close as well, and unbeknownst to him, was looking down in the wrong basin. As it turned out, we saw him at dark and put him to bed Thursday night before the hunt. He was way out of his normal patterns. We were very suspicious that he was not going to be around for opener. He had already felt the pressure from everyone setting up, and Friday morning he was nowhere to be seen. The next people I know of that saw him killed him on November 17th, 2022. He was 7.5 miles as the crow flies from his summer range. Realistically, to hike and follow the canyon patterns down to where he was killed was probably closer to 12 miles. I had been in the exact area where he was shot several days earlier. He wasn't there that day. I also had plans to hunt the same spot again the day after he was seen and killed. I didn't know he was going to be there. No one did, but sometimes it just comes down to being at the right place at the right time with the right people. For me, it wasn't meant to be. It didn't matter that I had scouted and hunted him for more than 90 days and 3 years. It didn't matter that I was in the best shape of my life. It didn't matter that I had him patterned better than probably anyone. It didn't matter what sponsors I did or didn't have, what hashtags I did or didn't use. Didn't matter if I had an e-bike or not, or shot with the latest bow model or had the latest and greatest in optics. It didn't matter that I hadn't talked to anyone about this buck or shared pictures or videos of him, really. There is no such thing as quote-unquote deserve in bow hunting. I did everything I could to make my own luck, and sometimes that's not enough. At the end of the day, Connor had the stars align and he showed up and got the job done. I'm really happy and excited for him. He ended up with an amazing buck. For me personally, it has been bittersweet. Obviously, I did everything I could to get this deer, yet it wasn't enough. I don't know what more I personally could have done to get him. I gave it my best effort. I was all in for 3 years, and it just didn't come together for me. It's disappointing to not be successful. It would have been the perfect ending for me to get this deer, given the time, effort, and history I had. But not every hunt ends in a fairy tale ending. It's nice to know that he was harvested by a bow hunter, that he wasn't winter killed somewhere, eaten by a cougar, or hit by a car and left to die. There is closure and knowledge, and that is nice. Also, I'm looking forward to next year and not feeling a personal pressure to harvest such a magnificent animal. I can enjoy hunting and scouting, although I will really miss those summer mornings and evenings watching such a huge buck. I'm looking forward to finding another one and going toe-to-toe with him. Congrats, Connor, on harvesting a once-in-a-lifetime buck. I've had several conversations with Connor since he killed this deer, and he's humble and grateful for the opportunity he received. On top of that, he was also kind enough to let me write a final chapter in my book with this deer. Before it got to the taxidermist, I got the chance to see this rack in person and hold his antlers in my hands. Thank you, Connor, for giving me that opportunity and allowing me to close the book on one of the most magnificent bucks to come off the Wasatch Front. I'll always be grateful to you for that. I will never, ever forget the memories that I made chasing this deer for 3 years.